Hey there, welcome to Moms with Mouse Ears, your guide to the magic. One of the newest ways to shorten your time waiting in lines at Walt Disney World is the Lightning Lane Multi-Pass and Lightning Lane Individual Pass options. Let's talk a little bit more about these pass options and who they'll work the best for and whether these are worth getting on your upcoming trip. Lightning Lane passes allow you to skip the regular standby lines for popular attractions, and there are a couple different ways to use these. So there's the Lightning Lane Multi-Pass where you book a few rides in advance and you can book these throughout the day. These are select rides throughout the theme parks. There's also individual Lightning Lane passes where you purchase access to the most in-demand rides at the theme park and you purchase those separately for each member of your party. There's also the Lightning Lane Premier Pass, which we're not going to focus on for this video. This is the top tier where you get into all the rides once during your theme park day, and with pricing that's basically more per person than even your original theme park entrance may have been. This is one that just warrants its own video and talking about this one separately because I think this one appeals to very specific parties. And one of the nice perks for Disney Resort hotel guests is that you can purchase these Lightning Lane passes up to 7 days in advance of your stay, whereas other guests that are staying maybe off-site can purchase these 3 days in advance, making this a great benefit if you're staying at one of those Disney resorts. Also, pricing for the Lightning Lane Multi-Pass and the Lightning Lane Individual Passes may vary based on the time of year and also the demand for that time of year. The Lightning Lane Multi-Pass can be used in select rides throughout the theme parks on the day that it's purchased for, and it's usually priced somewhere between $17 to $30 per person, and that depends on the theme park and time of year. And the individual Lightning Lane, which is used for only one specific ride, like a Cosmic Rewind or a Flight of Passage, varies from $14 to $29, again depending on that time of year and the demand. These can also sell out, so if you know you want to ride the ride, make sure you grab those passes right when they're first available to you. These costs can start to add up though if you're visiting with your family and considering these prices for multiple days across your entire party. So with that in mind, we'll share the times when we think it's best to consider the Lightning Lane passes and how we prefer to use them. Also, we'll share some different strategies to incorporate the Lightning Lane uses during your trip. In our family's experience, using the Lightning Lane passes can definitely be worth it during the busiest times of year, like the holidays, spring break, or during summer vacation if it's right around one of those holiday times like 4th of July. On those super packed park days, the lines can get crazy and those line waits can be up to 90 to 120 minutes or more for some of the most popular rides. So being able to get into shorter lines with the shorter wait times can save your family literal hours whenever you're at the theme park, and it could save you meltdowns as well too if you have younger kids that aren't so great at waiting in line. So our strategy is pretty simple and straightforward. We prioritize buying the Lightning Lane Multi-Pass for specific theme parks when we plan on spending the majority of our day in the theme park. And then sometimes we add an individual Lightning Lane for our favorite rides, either during those times when we know we just want to ride the ride and have a specific time to come back to ride it, or during those busy times and we again just know we want to ride that ride. So most often I will purchase individual Lightning Lanes for Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind at Epcot, and Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom. These are two of our family's favorite rides, and we love incorporating those rides into our Disney day. So I'll grab those individual passes for everyone that wants to ride those, and we know we have that set in our day. Then for the Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, we typically look at getting these at the theme parks when we're planning on riding a lot of rides, specifically a lot of times at Magic Kingdom where there's lots of ride choices, and that's one where we will maximize our use of that Lightning Lane Multi-Pass. And we love using it when we're planning those full theme park days and we want to make the most of our time. It just makes it so easy to be in the theme park and do as much as possible. With that in mind though, honestly for our family, we prefer spending the money on Lightning Lane Multi-Passes instead of buying a park hopper ticket. So this may not be the same for every family if you love park hopping from park to park throughout your day, but our family likes staying in a single theme park when we're visiting as a family. It helps us maximize everything we want to see and do in one theme park together without feeling rushed. So I do also visit many other times of year on my own for solo trips and with Disney Pals, and during those times I do tend to find park hopping super useful. So I will say it will depend on the type of trip that you're planning and also how your family likes to tour as to which way you may want to go on this. And as always, if budgetary concerns aren't at the top of your list and this is maybe your one big trip, you know you want to have park hopping as an option, you know that you want to get those lightning lanes, you can definitely do both to maximize your time times at the theme parks, but if you're trying to just spend where to choose your money, we opt for using it for the Lightning Lane Multipass over park hopping, and that's how our family loves the tour. So that's how we typically use it, but when would be the times that it's really maybe not so much worth it? During those slower times of year, like early September, mid-January, or after all the spring break rushes are over, standby lines can be way more manageable. So on those time frames, we usually just skip the extra costs and enjoy the theme parks at a slower pace. So is paying for the Lightning Lane multi-passes worth it for our family? Yes, especially during those busy seasons and when we want a full theme park day experience. But if you'll be visiting during a slower time or don't mind the longer waits, or if you just visit so frequently that you don't need to get it on all of those trips, you'll be able to skip it and save the money for a Mickey ice cream bar or 2 or 3. And if you're someone that visits frequently, like myself, I sometimes use them on certain trips, and then others it's not as high priority. So definitely look at the goals of your trip to see if it aligns with what you're wanting to get done. Hopefully this has been helpful figuring out whether the Lightning Lane multi-pass or Lightning Lane individual lane passes are for you, and we have even more information over on the blog, so don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our Disney tips and reviews, and head over to momswithmouseears.com for more information and tips to get started on planning your time at Walt Disney World. Grab those mouse ears and let's get planning.